Just hit it up. Yo, what's up, guys? Oh, what's up, Motown?
Hey, what's up,
Hey,
Barry?
what's up, dude?
How you doing? We
I'm
got
good.
Pradis in here. All right,
Yeah,
John.
Yep.
yeah, man.
Hey,
I
All
man.
right, perfect. I'm
I,
here.
How are
I'm
you?
I'm a
hearing
pro,
myself
man.
on your stream.
Yeah,
Hold on.
Yeah, let me mute that stream. I was watching it.
yeah.
There we go. It's a lot better.
Watching the wrong community. Hey, so how's it going, man? You guys have a pretty eventful day today. It was
Dude, it's been great
a
today.
lot of recognition I saw. From what I understand, I was watching Lyric, who makes some comments on it, and it sounded like he was really into it. Um,
Yeah, Lyric tweeted about it as well. Summit saw it. He's going to play the video tomorrow on his stream.
oh, cool,
Yeah,
awesome. Yeah,
yeah. Where
Dance Gaming also, I think, was watching
did?
it. Yeah,
Oh my God! I love that guy. Was he watching it?
yeah. I heard Dance
Eh,
Gaming was watching it as well.
I didn't know about that. That's awesome.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
This is-
I heard about that today. I was really excited about how much how many big names were getting in on that, man. So that's pretty fucking sweet, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, let me change my topic here. Just maybe someone will fly in here.
All right. Is Pradis in here? Is
Yeah.
he?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Yeah, we've been getting some exposure on websites too. Like, popped up on quite a few now. Massively was the latest one, and that's getting a lot of exposure too. So that's great. I mean, really, we're actually doing better than I expected to at this point. Being, what are we? Not even a day and a half in yet.
I know, and what's amazing, man, is it's so early into the Kickstarter campaign. Is that what you call it? Is that like a campaign kind of thing?
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
That's what we're calling it.
Yeah.
That's what we
Yeah.
call it.
I mean, it's like it's how it is, you know. It's that. Hold on, let me get the fuck
Yeah,
out of this
there's-
car. I'm gonna end up
there's
getting.
been an absolute ton of recognition. Massively. I'm a big fan of like reading Massively articles, and they did an article this morning, and like it's so many awesome news sites. Like these ones that I could only dream of having our project. Be
I
mentioned.
I love it. I love it. I'm
I love
proud of
it,
you guys, man. You guys,
Yeah.
it just spread like wildfire, man.
It did.
I hope there was enough hype that the I saw the all the hype videos on the forums over there, like, and
You know,
it was just hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, is this an official thing? Like it was.
Yeah, yeah.
Some
The
people were
reason-
doing some really good ones.
The reason those hype videos took so the reason it took so long to go from the hype videos to the project announcement is because we had to wait for Kickstarter to verify our project for 3 days.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so like by that point, everybody was like the hype was dying off on our forums. We got really worried about it, and
Yeah, the exposure's been
everything's
good for a few things too.
Yeah.
But we've had publishers come to us too. We've already had a couple actually approach us, and big publishers, like some of the biggest there are.
Really.
So that's really good. It just kind of secures everything for us. So no matter what happens at this point, chances are we're going to do quite well. But of course, if we can get more support on the Kickstarter, that's extremely important to us, because that means that if we can bypass a publisher, not only can we likely get things out faster, but we can actually do it with more control too. So that's the goal for sure. But either
Absolutely.
way, it's going to happen.
That's awesome. Hold on, I have a sub notification in my ears right now.
Oh yeah, no problem. I wonder who that is.
Thanks, man. Welcome back to the Teabaggers.
Thank you.
What are some of I mean, the fucking big names, man? That is awesome. I love that you guys have, like, it opened the eyes of so many people that, it's like, I think, it's not that no one's wanted to do this before, but no one has ever done it before. And I don't think anyone's really attempted to do it. I mean, GTA is the only thing that's kind of something like it, but they've always had their own niche where it's just the life of a criminal and play out the story. And it was more of a single player focus. And yeah, you have your RP communities where it was heavily modded and stuff, but it's not the same thing at all. It's not the same, and to see that some people are actually recognizing this, and especially the big name companies, man. I wish I knew. Like, give you a little poke on the side.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, man. We've absolutely loved the amount of support. The comments on Pradis's voice, very Canadian. A boot.
Oh my god, I've heard so much of my accent.
It's great. It's iconic though. That's perfect. Especially because you're taking Canadian dollars right now. It's all tracked in Canadian dollars.
When I first met John, like, he did not think that he had a Canadian accent. I didn't really think he had.
I still don't think I have a Canadian accent. I mean, everybody says, "Oh, you're Canadian, aren't you?" But I don't hear it myself.
It's always
to
a
me.
couple
I sound
words.
American. Yeah.
yeah. It's like I'm pretty kind of desensitized to my accent, but there's a couple words, like if I'm like saying coffee or something, like people are like, "Oh, where are you from, New York or something?" I was like, "Yeah, well, whatever." But you can always have those couple words that stick out, man. You're never gonna get away from it.
Yeah. But going back real quick, you mentioned all these mods, and honestly, man, what this is the revolution of all these mods you've seen in other games. Mountain Blade, what is that called? Persistent World, right?
Right.
And the Perp, Pulsar Effect Roleplay in Gary's mod, and Dark RP in Gary's mod, and the roleplay servers on GTA 4 Online. Everything. This. There's obviously been a demand for something like this. It's incredible to us that nobody's ever thought of it. Maybe even after we put this out, maybe more companies will start to see the potential in something like this. That'd be a great revolution for this type of game. And
yeah, that's really awesome. And you know what? And I love that you didn't want to stick with or go down the rabbit hole on Bohemia and get into the same corner that I think Standalone got themselves into. This isn't I'm assuming a lot of people are comparing something like that to DayZ because it's kind of something that stemmed from an Arma 3 mod or mission or whatever you want to call it. DayZ was a full mod though. And then they ported it over to something else, and customized the engine, which this is completely different. You're going to a completely new engine that's from the ground up, and you're not going to get stuck in these sort of pitfalls that something like DayZ Standalone got in.
Yeah, we're pretty excited to finally be able to do the things that we want to do too. Since we started with Asylum, there's always these things that were ambitious ideas that we had that we can never actually do due to technical limitations, right? So with this here, because we have the source code of the entire engine, we can modify in any way we want. We can do absolutely anything. Any ideas we have that we can think up, we can now do, whereas with a mod that can never really be done. Things like the movie theater, that's just not possible with Arma, but here is actually pretty easy to do.
Yeah,
and it was
go ahead.
Oh, sorry. It was always our plan to originally create a modded server, but around that time that we were planning the idea, Arma 3 Life, like, it was announced, and they came up really fast, and we decided to go a step further and produce a game. And like it paid off, man. We're doing it.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna get there. It's
whether we see the funding on Kickstarter or not, it's going to get made. However, this will get us the foot in the door. It'll but it'll get made no matter what. We've had publishers, big publishers, contact us. Like, seriously,
I love it. I love it.
But we don't want to go the publisher route, but it's an option to fall back on, right?
Right.
And but we've had.
I mean, it could increase the scale of the whole thing too. It might not just be.
Absolutely.
I mean, if if it looks right and the shoe fits, I mean, and they're going to give you the creative reins to kind of lead it.
Right.
I mean, that's not it's a no-brainer as well. It's like, hey, yeah, you lead the idea and take it away. You obviously know more than we do.
Yeah,
But
totally.
you know, there's always that like, you know, do you really mean it? kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Got to read the fine print.
What are some of the common questions you guys are getting that you see recurring over and over again that, you know, kind of can, you know, that sound like they're really bad, but they don't they may not understand the full picture or something like that.
Do you want to shank? And you know,
wait, can you grab
This
shanks?
didn't. There's no shanks.
You need a shank, bro. But,
So a couple that I've seen a lot, and they're saying like, well, you know, 150,000 is a nice start, but is that really going to be enough to get going with it?
Yeah, and that sort of touches on what we were just saying too.
Yeah. It'll attract investors. That's really one of the main things that we want to point out is we know that we can't make a game with $150,000. You know, everybody knows that. We are not, you know, we're not naive. But this will attract investors, and it already has started. We've been talking to many different people interested. You know, you have the right to be skeptical. We completely understand it, but we know what we're doing. We know we have the experience to do it, and we know that it'll get done. So,
this is sort of the first stage too. I mean, this 150,000 we're raising, even when it comes to crowdfunding, is only the first phase of it. So, towards the end of this whole campaign on Kickstarter, we're going to be putting up the community website, which will continue crowdfunding as well. It'll do with our own internal system, which will finally accept PayPal, which is one of the big questions we keep getting is how can I pay PayPal?
Is there a way to do that?
Not
no,
right
not
now,
on Kickstarter.
Oh, okay. So in the future, then we can.
Yeah.
Right. When we put up our own crowdfunding system on the website.
Oh, cool. That'd be sweet. So once this goes through, then anybody with PayPal can have at it.
Yeah. Did you want to play that video? I see you hovering over the.
I always
the
want.
link.
But dude, I've watched this so many times. I love it. I'll just do. I'll throw it in the back.
Okay. Okay. Just do the.
Just rehype the short one.
Yeah, the short one. There.
Let me see if it's loud enough.
I'm veteran game developer John.
You know, that is funny that you mentioned that.
I'm excited to show you today
one of your viewers said that you showed by Skype, and I have been getting contact requests.
Identities and MMORPG.
Well, I didn't actually show
your
Skype name. It's just
levels or skill progression. It's based on you, your character, and what you want to do with it. Identity is all about giving absolute freedom in a world that's full of other people and fun things to do. We've gotten rid of most of the AI and replaced it with people. It's people who are driving down the street, and it's people who run for governor. It's people who play as police officers and fight crime. You'll find
this
sports,
is
car
like
racing,
each of these scenes took about 2 weeks to pop out.
List.
You know, and
living off the land is
quite the journey.
You make a pretty good living hunting or fishing.
That does touch on one of the other common things that have been coming up too is a lot of the 3D models that are in the video. If you see at the bottom, it says temporary placeholders. Yeah, so we're going to be changing a lot of the models. We're keeping
we're going to be offering you the option to rent your own
but some of them are just placeholders that we put in there quickly so that we can get kind of like a concept prototype to show you guys what we're doing.
We're trying to move the project along, and we had to illustrate you know, some of the ideas. So like the environments might not look final, you know, in the final game. The prison might change some. The jewelry store, like maybe the lighting will get.
Somebody that likes to take the quiet route. You can form a business and play
you know,
market,
like,
or you could take the other way.
Prison, I love the look of the prison. It feels so like, or even if there's like, you know, a few of them, like you have like a, you know, minimum security one or a maximum security like entry or something like that. Like maybe an insane asylum, if you know what I mean. Like,
yeah.
Something like that.
Just have to lock Motown's character in there. It does kind of work. We do have small jails that are for minor crimes and, you know, like not paying your speeding tickets, that kind of thing. So those are very simple. You just serve a little bit of time, nothing much. And then there's the prisons for the big crimes, and those, like I think we were talking about this with you before, kind of have their own little economy within them, their own territory system. We're split up into prison gangs too. Each one kind of holds turf, and you can get tasks to go, interact with the other ones. It's really interesting though, because there's a whole economy for items and everything within the prison. It's almost like a game in its own.
Yeah,
So
that's the
if
thing.
you,
Like, so if you get arrested, you're like, oh my god, I don't have to. Like in the past, you're like, what do I do? I'm just gonna stand here. Like on an extreme level, like A3L, it's like you're sitting there for like up near like I've seen people go in there for like 18 hours. Like, and what the hell do you do for 18 hours? Like in game, like like I would murder myself. So I try not to ever get to that point, but I would love to do more extreme things. But this is like one of those things. Even if you got thrown in there for like 5 hours, 10 hours, you still have this whole little, a mini game where it's like, well, let's play jail today. Like you're not just stuck in a cell.
yeah, we actually expect some people to maybe not want to leave the prison. They might actually want to just hang out there.
Yeah.
Which they could if they chose to stay. I mean,
Yeah, like
Yes.
commit crimes within the jail to stay longer.
Yeah. The prison is like a mini economy, it's like it's a pretty big play area. You could totally spend the entirety of your game time like shanking people in jail, capturing territory or something.
Yeah, building up your own gang kind of thing.
Your
within the
own
jail,
prison
yeah.
gang. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So, any features that haven't been that people are requesting that haven't been talked about in here, like that you've seen like a big outpouring of support for a certain idea, or I don't know how much feedback you've got for a
We
lot
actually-
of specific things.
we've had a lot of questions about features. We haven't had a whole lot of suggestions really
No,
that
I
I've seen
haven't.
yet.
I haven't really seen many suggestions. I've seen a couple, but like they were kind of small things. But yeah, though, a lot of questions, not many suggestions. And we are open to suggestions. We have this list of things that that we might not have thought of already. We want to be completely transparent and also even include our community in part of this development. So if they have something they want to suggest that we might not have thought of already that sounds really cool, we're totally down for that. We'll write that down in a document.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of this is in the planning phase. So
Yeah.
if there's any sort of if someone knows it better and it's like, yeah, you know what, I never really thought about it that way. Support is awesome right now, and so far, I mean, if you did back the project, you can throw it in a comment. You can go onto their Facebook page or tweet it out to them for now, and soon enough, I'm sure they're gonna have their IdentityRPG.com website up, and you can go on there, and there'll be plenty of forums for you to make suggestions, give feedback, ask any questions, discuss it with other people. Do you guys have an official Reddit post yet, or is it just?
Oh man, dude!
I
Somebody
saw someone.
just
There's been a few of them.
yeah, someone just today, and this is the highlight of this whole experience so far for me because I'm a big Redditor. I like sit on Reddit all the time. Pradis is like talking to me sometimes, and I'll be like half listening and be like, "Oh my god, he's reading Reddit again," And
That is true.
But,
that happens every day.
and, so yeah, someone made a Reddit, a subreddit for the game already, and that's my highlight so far.
Oh man, nice.
That they did this.
So is it Identity RPG? Did they take that for the name, or is
no?
it
It's
an
Identity
Altus Life one?
MMO. I'll put it in your chat. Quick. If you guys are Redditors,
I think I've been on here.
there it is.
Oh yeah, there's one guy who did. Welcome to the Identity community. Oh, there you go. We better give you guys, the lead on it. There's another post. There's another thread though that has a lot more attention. I don't know if you saw that one yet. It says Identity and Altus Life successor on Unreal Engine 4.
I've seen a few of them. I've seen at least like 6 threads that have like gotten more than say 20 upvotes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. yeah, that's pretty sweet. So, what was I gonna ask? Yeah, I got distracted. Let me look at the Kickstarter real quick, because then I have all these questions as soon as I look at it. It's just like the world opens up. So you guys, I'm pretty confident you guys are gonna hit this goal. I mean, 20K in 2 days. That's over 12% in almost 20K. So that's over 12% in 2 days. 28 to go. So if you took that and let's do a 27 on there. That's if you kept at this rate, you'd be pretty much getting 3 times the goal.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That's fucking awesome. That is freaking amazing. And I think even if it slows down, after people get the initial stuff out, I honestly think when the words keep spreading, it's gonna keep going up like wildfire. I really hope it does, because the project is perfect. I love how many people are saying good things about it. Like watching Lyric talk about it, he says he'd play the shit out of it. I was like, that's my boy, man. That's what I'm talking about, bro.
Definitely. And
if you guys want to touch on, I don't know if people realize, how the servers are going to be set up, or like in the customization kind of for the servers. I know there's going to be a whole.
Yes.
All right.
There was someone in chat that asked about that earlier. So yeah, the servers will have both official and private servers. The official servers, a lot of people have been asking about how cops will, RDMing and stuff like that. There are no RDM or VDM rules on the official servers. That'll be handled through mechanics. Joining the police will be automated. However, on private servers, you have a lot more control. We'll give a lot more control to private server owners. They can whitelist people for the police department or fire department or EMTs. They can control whether there's safe zones or not. But everything will be mostly automated on the official servers. And your private servers, which will be rented, will appear on the same browser list as the official public servers. So yeah.
Sweet. So that's interesting though, because people get so stuck in like, oh well, the mission files, why don't you have it doing all this stuff? And it's like there's so many limitations to it. Whereas when it's on a new engine, you really can, like, you can load up and you're walking in the front door of the PD and you're going to go through automated training, or maybe some sort of field officer, training officer will be waiting for you to train you up, and that's how they make their money. And there's so many different options that you can do. It's not like you're stuck, oh, I have to pick Blue 4, Op 4, whatever.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And it's a lot more, there's a lot more control to it. So people think that they're so stuck in like, well, if it's not organized properly, then it's not really going to work if the community isn't training the people correctly. And it's like, you really have the control. Like I'm sure there's like, if you fire at a civilian who's not wanted, who hasn't done anything wrong, and you kill him, that could be just your badge, and then you might like automatically get demoted because you shot somebody. And then there's that control where, and if you do it again, you're kicked out of the force, and you have to, you automatically have to wait for so long. It's
right.
You are on the right track for how it does work. It is along those lines, and we have a lot of nice formulas here for determining if someone's doing something good or bad, and work their way up. The careers kind of work like that too, right? Like we don't have slots in this anymore. So the way it works is you log in as a civilian. If you want to sign up to be a cop, you go through your training. If you make your way in, then when you want to play as a cop, you actually travel to the police department, you sign in, and you are then a cop at that point. At that point there, being a career, I think it's something I touch on in the video too. You have independent progression paths that you can choose with. For example, let's say you wanted to get in a SWAT. I imagine that's going to be a pretty popular one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the way that'll work is if you are qualified as a SWAT member, you've actually gone through everything you need to do. You're in. At that point there, when a certain event happens, like say there's a bank robbery, You can get summoned to that bank robbery as a SWAT officer. You interact with the SWAT vehicle on site, and you're going to be able to pull out your loadout. So it's kind of a way to keep it safe in that we can give these SWAT guys really awesome, cool gear. You know, you can have your MP5, all that sort of stuff. But then at the same time, it keeps those items from leaking out into the world. So they're kind of restricted to that incident where SWAT is required, if you know what I mean. And that's just one example. I mean, we have all kinds of different routes you can go as a cop, too.
Like, you have a dispatcher, possibly. Would that be like player controlled, or is that like, you know,
it's sort of both. You know, some things will be automated, some things will be controlled by people. The detective is pretty cool too. Actually, some of the detective features came from one of our heads of police on the Asylum server. Some of the ideas there, and they turned out really cool too. Things like being able to track who has held a gun that fell on the ground. You know, you can track the fingerprints on it. There's blood spatter that you can examine, all that sort of thing. So there's a whole slew of different functions and abilities you get depending on how you go in the progression path.
Yeah, Timmac actually also suggested a lot of those the same
the evidence
things.
Stuff.
Yeah.
I was straight into
I remember
that. I was
that.
like,
Yeah.
I'm so tired of these bullshit offenses where I'm getting arrested because they feel like doing it. I'm like, there needs to be evidence, man. They never have it, and they always bust you on stuff they don't have evidence for. And like, it should be provided. Like, they should have physical stuff. Like, someone sends a picture from their cell phone showing one guy holding a gun at another person, and then another picture where that dude's now dead. Like, it should, you know, maybe something like that where it can keep track of it, or, you know. But anyway, I wanted to ask one more thing. So a lot of people, I mean, you're typing in chat.
Yeah.
About the map. A lot of people are asking, like, what's the map going to be like? Like, do you guys have any sort of plan of how urban it is, or, you know, how?
You know, it's a fictitious world based on the Northeast United States. You'll see a lot of forests. You know, we say it's the size of Altus in Arma 3, but it's not the same temperate environment. You know, in Arma 3, the environment is very what is the word? Arid, and in this game it is more northern, hilly. You know,
Yeah, as for
rural, suburban, and some
city,
city,
urban. Is it going to
urban.
be like a main city, and then the suburbs kind of sprawling out and further out?
Yeah,
from there?
yeah. There's
Yes.
one big city, and then there's some little towns from there, with, you know, sort of suburbia on the outskirts of it, and then you have your rural areas and your wilderness, all this sort of thing. So there's a lot of variety, and that's one of the things that we really wanted. We wanted the environment to be quite interesting, have a lot of like different kind of areas that you might want to go. You know, it's something to appeal to everybody, really, or just keep you from getting bored in the same sort of, you know, environment that looks the same everywhere. You know.
Sweet. Yeah, I love that. Well, I'm a New Yorker, so I love the idea. So, what, like, I see a lot of people talking about the passport. Can you kind of go about, like, I know this might be changing a little bit. I remember you saying something about that yesterday, but could you go a little bit into like what the passport actually does for you?
Okay, so the passport is your door into the world. All right, so when you purchase the game, what you're doing is you're purchasing a passport. At least it's the way that we have it planned currently. It could change in the future. We might, you know, we really got to look at how we want that set up. But you know, you'll download the client, and you'll pay for a passport into the world. And when you pay the passport fee, you know, I think it's like 10 or 15 US dollars for a stamp on your passport, and that'll allow you to enter the game.
Now, can you buy multiple passports? So if you wanted to, I don't know, have a different character or something like that, or can one passport do everything?
One passport would do everything.
Oh, okay, cool.
You wouldn't need multiple passports unless you have a new account. The passport is basically your main menu feature. You know, it's the thing it's a UI element, right? That kind of gives you access to everything that you need
Okay, cool.
to play the game. Um,
Yeah,
so
really, it's
yeah,
just sort of like a cool RP way to kind of put in the buying your game account and stuff like that. So the idea is essentially that you will be able to download the game without even buying it. You could install it. You can make a character even, but that character is not going to get into the world until it has its passport on the account, right?
Oh, cool.
And the cool thing is there, if we ever do release any kind of
DLC.
expansion
Yeah.
on, DLC or expansion on land, we have the option. We haven't determined if we're going to do this yet, but the option is there with this system to require a different passport stamp, and then you'll have two in that one passport and be able to access both if you see. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of a cool RP-ish way to go about it.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, and I like that, from a business standpoint, getting people, allowing them to download the game and then say, "Hey, my character's friggin' awesome. I want to run around as them." It's like, all right, whatever. It's $8, no big, or $10, or
Right,
and it's
right.
minimal, And then people will be like, "Yeah, well, this is actually a real, fun thing, and I can't wait to take him in the world." It hypes him up a little bit. So I think that's pretty cool. Um, I, what is this? Someone's asking about like legal careers, because everyone's, everything in the life
Okay.
community right now is like a hardened criminal
Cops and
kind of thing.
robbers.
Yeah, it's cops
Okay.
and robbers,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So this game it has a strong focus on criminal activity and police activity. Realistically, this is a life simulator about cops and robbers, but there is also this other entirely new depth to it with legal careers. If you don't want to get into trouble, you want to casually play, you can do things like deliver missions. You can like I'm sure you've heard of Euro Truck Simulator or played it, and there's kind of like these contracts out to go deliver goods and stuff like that. So say you want to be a truck driver and you want to deliver goods, you can accept a contract, and some of these contracts will actually be placed on the list by actual players who own businesses that want to transport goods, uh, or or they'll come from missions if there's just not nobody submitting contracts on the board. There will be automated missions. Um, so there's always going to be something there, and you can load up your truck full of goods and deliver it where it needs to go, and that'll actually have an effect on the economy. There's other things too, like being the governor or mayor. You're
Like an
actually
elected
elected.
position, yeah.
Yes, and um, you can own your own factory, your own business, make money through that.
Or you could be like a
Uh,
resource miner and bring it to
yeah.
these factories to, when there's
Yes,
such a huge
exactly.
demand. If they're running low, they're calling all miners or something. And
Yeah. You
yeah,
can go
that's
chop wood in the forest. You can distill alcohol in your apartment. In fact, we have these different like type of workbenches, for crafting, and one of these things is a what are those hydroponic like tables for marijuana growth?
oh
You could
yeah, oh
place
yeah.
you could place a table with hydroponic plants on it and lights above it inside your apartment and grow marijuana and sell that marijuana.
Sell that dro.
Uh, yeah, and the governor might have made that legal, so it could be legal. You could sell it legally. And another thing in place of the hydroponic table is a workbench that you can craft wooden furniture and sell that stuff. Um, to people. You could sell it to stores, or just sell it to other players that want to put that in their apartments. Um,
That's
and
awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna have my
yeah,
grow. I'm gonna buy a house and throw it all in my attic if that's possible.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
See,
yeah. Just fill up your house with weed plants.
the cool thing with the furniture too, like he's talking about how the players can craft that furniture, is that a lot of these items will only be available through crafting. So, a certain sofa, for example, there's going to be some that are for sale by NPCs, and they're always there, the entry level stuff. But if you want that really nice sofa, it's going to take a player to craft it and list it on the market. And it's sort of like what Motown was getting to before with the deliveries and the supply and demand. So with that, you can actually make money not just crafting but transporting it. Say you find a lot of stuff, like one town, there's an ample supply of a certain kind of item. The price is really cheap. You could buy some of that, bring it somewhere where there's a demand for it, and actually make money. So even just transporting stuff like that, you could make a living.
Um, any idea how like what types of thing, like your inventory system and how that's gonna function, or like kind of like a conceptual idea of how that's gonna flow? Are you gonna be dragging stuff from your inventory to your hands to pull out a gun? I'm not sure if you had any ideas of how that's gonna go yet.
I don't know if you'll drag stuff from your inventory into your hands yet, but we do know that the way that we want trunk space in cars to work is actually like, fit it into the space of the trunk, and that would be that would work on a grid basically. You'd fit the shape of that object into your trunk, nice and neat, and based on how many grid slots are available there. And that's technical. The grid would be invisible to you, obviously, but the objects would be visible 3D there in your trunk of your vehicle, or and you could kind of fit them in however like you want to arrange them.
Yeah, that's really cool. Like, so
Yeah.
if you don't have any room in your bag, you can throw it in the grid in the trunk or something, and
Yeah.
lay it out and take what you need when you're leaving off. That's freaking cool. I like that idea. Because a lot of the times you're like, it goes into this virtual place where it's like, and then you get a list of stuff and whatever. I really like that idea. If you can get that look and feel of what you have. People giving me money. Ask them if they need any IRL beer, man. You guys need any beer? BZK Twitch is gonna send you some.
We had talked about like alcohol distillery and stuff like that. That's another thing in place of the hydroponic lamps and stuff like that, and the crafting table. Also, along with that, you could place in a distillery in your apartment where you can craft alcohol, and like wine bottles will actually be dated so that you could 50 days. You'll have 50-day-old beer, and it'll be labeled like that. And that's something cool. You could sell it right away, or you could wait and sell it, and it'll be worth more the longer you wait.
Oh, nice.
So yeah,
walking around, stumbling around and stuff.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh, people are telling me I just hit 40K followers. Get the hype.
Oh, nice! Congratulations, dude.
Milestone.
Yeah. That is a milestone, man, dude.
We're getting there.
You have grown so huge, dude. I remember this one day, like you were on Asylum, and I just came onto your stream one day, and you just suddenly had 1,000 viewers.
I think I was playing with Lyric or something that day.
Yeah.
And then when he was off, everyone just linked my channel. I trained up Lyric. I was a cop on there. I don't know if people remember that, but yeah, it was. I was as a cop, as a cadet. I dragged them along with me, and it was.
Ever since that day that I saw that, dude, you've just blown up. It's incredible.
It's a dream, man. I can't imagine ever doing this again and being where I am. It just doesn't. It doesn't make any sense, but I'm grateful, man. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Yeah, this is. I want to keep prodding you guys while I have you, and
No, absolutely, man. Throw the questions out there.
Okay,
we got answers.
So, all right, I'm looking at your pictures to get some ideas here, because that's what I always get into. All right, so I don't know if you have a target for this. I know you said the map is going to be maybe about the size of Altus, and it's going to be some urban, some suburban, some rural. But are you planning on? Do you know how many you want to fit into the server, or per server? Is that going to vary?
Yeah, we're looking for the official servers at least. You know, it varies for public servers, but for official servers, we're looking at 300 to 400 people. You know, that's a lot of people to fit into the space of Altus. And actually, you think if you really think about it, Altus has a lot of like really spread out area. You know, like
It's unusable
developments. Yeah, but this you think like, oh, 300 people in Altus Life, that'd be crazy, insane. But this environment uses up more of that space. You know, there's uh, the the different like it's not just a bunch of like empty space that you'll never use.
Yeah,
You know, this it is the size of Altus, but it's there's a lot more going on in the terrain. So
yeah. It's gonna be it's different. Like there isn't. I mean, I'm sure there might be some, natural, wonders and stuff or whatever you want to call them, and terrain differences and stuff. But like I find that Altus is kind of a lot of it is fairly unusable. You have a lot of water in between, which I mean, even if there is some water, if it's usable, but more usable, then go ham on it. But like I feel like all the main road. There's one pretty much main road from Cavallo all the way to Sofia, and you got one that goes down to Pyrgos, and that's pretty much where everybody ends up. So when you have 100 people, you're gonna find them on one of those roads eventually, or flying around. Oh yeah, yeah. Are you thinking about any air vehicles or like
we right now we're leaning against it. We think that the environment is a lot. It feels more immersive when you're down there on foot, you're traveling the roads, so right now we're kind of pointing away from air vehicles. I know we've been kind of going back and forth on that though, however, but I think we're kind of leaning toward no air vehicles, and the reason for that is we don't want the world to feel small to you up in the sky.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, I could see maybe like if you have like say the map's so spread out, maybe like either automated or like a special like career for maybe a like a pilot for like small planes, or if you have a jet that can go from one place to another just for transportation.
Well, you do also have trains too.
And trains. Oh,
yeah,
there you go.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I do like that idea actually. Oh, that'd be cool. Any sort of like small time careers, maybe like going to I don't know how role play oriented you're gonna go down the career path, but like like small things like owning a restaurant or owning shops and stuff like that to sell like minor things. I think you went into like you could sell shirts and stuff or whatever at that point, but
Yeah, so there's the way it kind of works right now in design is that when you craft an item or you get an item, whatever, you could list this at a store. So these NPC stores for say the furniture store, it will sell both the standard items and items that other people have listed and sold there, sort of like I think on consignment. Mm-hmm. There are some businesses that you can buy and you can own and you can make income off it when they're being used by other players. We haven't really, I say we're not really quite ready to discuss too much detail on there other than the factories.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
The factories being where a lot of the higher end stuff gets crafted.
Gotcha. And you guys want to comment? Like a lot of people are asking moddable.
I don't think. I think right now it's a no. We don't plan on making it moddable. Unless you want to hack the game.
It's customizable, but it's not moddable.
Yeah, it's almost to the point of being moddable in that servers are going to have so many different controls. Basically, everything we can give control over, we will. So each server is going to have very different settings. For example, one could even have permadeath. One could be forced first person. One might have no vehicles in it. They're going to have complete control over every element to the point that it'll almost feel like it's modded, but it's just modded through a nice interface with fancy buttons. So it's very easy to go that way.
Yeah, that's cool. Because I mean, yeah, if you could tweak server settings and give them as much stuff as they're asking for, and you know, there might be, I think there's a point where you need to have some sort of control of the content, like the vehicles you're putting in, make it, you know, that there's got to be stuff that you have to offer that's going to hype everybody up. I mean, you got to figure there's people don't realize that it's a little bit, you know, business oriented too, because you gotta be smart with the way. I mean, if you just say, hey, here's everything all up front, and you know, tweak it, it's open source, it's like, well, then what? And then what do you have to offer after that if people are just going to take it and make it completely their own? But what was I? Oh, sorry, I lost train of thought.
No problem.
Another concern there too is that we want to make sure that we want to give a lot of freedom, but at the same time we need to control it to an extent to make sure that the servers, none of them go too far beyond the scope of what we see as being the vision for the game. I mean, we don't want any of them to become a totally different game that we think will turn off people when they go into it.
Yeah,
but at the same time, we do want them to be able to adjust everything that, you know, will not be damaging to the game.
Somebody asked if you could have pets. Do you want to answer that, John, for your apartment?
So yeah, for now, we have it so that you can have pets inside your house and your apartment. These pets right now, they just kind of walk around and make nice sounds and animations. They're not like going to be extremely useful.
Come home, yeah, and you have like 600 cats running around there.
I don't think you need to feed them or anything. You know, they're just kind of running
in the
around.
future. We might expand on the pets in the future. In fact, we would like to, but I mean that's further down the road. Maybe for a stretch goal, we might get into something like that. But other than that, for now, there's sort of like a vanity pet that just kind of walks around. It's still kind of cool, but we can go so much further with it if we get the funding to do that.
Yeah, there's other priorities right now, but if we decide later on, we will. Yeah.
Do you have a target maturity level for this game? You know, is it going to be
our target market?
Like, yeah, your target market for this? Yeah.
Well, we hope everybody will be mature. We understand there's going to be some griefing in the public servers. You know, we'll be prepared for that. We'll find some incentive to prevent that, to encourage role play. You know, and punish people who don't follow that through mechanics. But our target market, like, you know, we're hoping to get people over, you know, in their 20s.
Yeah, do you think it's going to be a mature rating though? Like, is it going to get? It's probably going to get saved to the rating level. No.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if indie games.
Any online game like this can't really have a low rating because of the content changes based on the people that are playing it. So any online MMO style game, right? Yeah, it has to have sort of a mature rating to it. That we can't avoid that just that it's online. But then again, at the same time, I think that audience is kind of more where we're aiming with this product anyway. You know, there's going to be some younger kids, of course, that are going to come in and play, but our target is definitely like the 20 to 40, you know, plus area. We're going to have loads of people. In fact, I imagine probably a huge percentage will be in the teens.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
yeah. But as far as like actual official ratings go, yeah, we can't avoid anything. It's probably going to end up being like 18 plus on the box, if that's what you mean.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's what I figured. I mean, I was just thinking it over after asking, and it's like, you know, people are going to be talking all the time, and, you know, I can barely keep my mouth closed and not be a mature rating, but, you know, it's going to happen.
We hope it'll remain mature. There will be some mature concepts to the game, you know, like parents might be concerned about is like the drug use. Now, think about this for a moment. Have you ever seen drug production in a actual game other than a mod, you know? So that's a controversial topic. We expect it to be anyway, and that's cooking meth as a player, and, you know, producing cocaine and any number of drugs that are you know, what make Altus Life what it is. That stuff we have to we have to include that stuff, you know.
But at the same
That's
time, like this is a different take on it. It's not like, oh, I'm just gonna be out there to sell drugs and shoot
no, of
cops and
course
stuff.
not.
But you're gonna also learn about punishments for these types of things, and you know, it's how the real world works. I mean, you have some drug trafficker, they go to jail for a long time. It's like
Yeah.
that's
So I'm sure there'll be some people that are angry at us for allowing their children to, uh, produce some cocaine. And
The thing is,
but,
when it comes to drugs and identity, is as it stands right now, where we are in design and everything, the drug production is a lot more in depth than it is in Altus Life. And we actually did a lot of research here to make sure that we're kind of doing things right.
that's a good thing.
We took all these drug production, real world methods and everything, and kind of put them into game mechanics in a way that's fun. Like we wanted to make sure that it's all fun, of course, to actually do. So, it's not exactly as it is in real life, but it's close enough to give you a good idea of what's going on.
Do you have any? I see you have, all the girls in there, and you have the girls' clothing shops and stuff. Is there any sort of maybe more, fine-tuned things for, to appeal to the female audience?
Oh, absolutely, dude. That's as important to us as appealing to the male crowd. Seriously, it is. There'll be clothing shops. You'll be able to buy male and female clothes. You might even be able to cross dress. We'll see. We'll see. But if I have any say, you'll be able to drag.
I can't wait to see you in a dress, man.
I hope you're talking in game, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna get over the other way.
I mean, you did have those plans of visiting the office, so I don't know what you guys have going.
I mean,
all right.
Yeah, a lot of people will know. I mean, I live in Charlotte. You guys are moving down to Asheville.
Yeah, we will. I'll wear a dress for your first time at the office.
Yeah, I'll be down to the office quite a bit.
All right.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. So, yeah, man. I don't know. I'm just kind of. I asked a lot of these questions yesterday, and I don't want to, harp on some of the same stuff. I mean, we kind of got into the housing and the way the world's going to work. I really like when you hit on the point of it kind of working like, kind of like the Skyrim model with the open world and the small instancing. I don't know if I think that goes to show like how the game's going to kind of function and why having 300 people on a server might not be that bad, like in a size of Altus, because there is going to be some of this instancing where people are going to disappear and go into their own little areas, and you're going to have maybe like you can have like 10, 15 people in your house throwing a party or something like that.
Exactly.
And you make use of this extra space, even though it's not on, I mean, it's on the world and you can walk to the place and all that kind of thing, but there will be this kind of parallel kind of place where it's not going to seem so over busy and crowded. Because I think 300 people on Altus, even though 100 still seems kind of barren once in a while, it does get kind of crazy when they're all out. But yeah,
absolutely, yeah. I think it'd be insane to see 100 people in the town square. Yeah. So yeah,
give them a place to disappear to, so it runs better.
For sure. Yeah.
The population on the server is, I mean, right now we don't know exactly how many people we're going to allow on the server, but from the technical standpoint, we are going to be able to support as many people as we want to. So really what it just comes down to is how dense do we want the population to be on the map, right? How many people do we want in any given area at any given time? And the design of the map has taken all this into consideration too for points of interest and whatnot. So really, I mean, we could do a lot of people on each server. That is not a problem from the technical side. It all just comes down to the size of the world, and then again, too, as we expand, we might even open up the servers to allow more people as we go, too.
And you were saying something about maybe renting servers. So is that are people going to be able to pull their own server files, or is it going to have to be kind of approved? Is there going to be, I'm not sure if you can comment on how the community can add servers to the masses.
Yeah, that'll be done by renting a server from an approved company. So we're gonna have partner companies at with their own big data centers all over the world, that sort of thing, where you can go and register your server, configure it all right there on their website, and handle it through them. So you will not actually have the files for the server on your own hardware, but you have access to configure it in every way that's possible through a nice little interface.
That's cool. What about like what kind of you expecting any kind of bandwidth? Like you sure do you know how much bandwidth one of these servers are going to use or need? Do you think a gig's going to be enough for it, or?
Oh yeah, that's plenty. That is, well, I mean, to an extent. See, if we go the route of allowing a lot of people on, we go with what's called like a cluster server, where different parts of the world can be divided up onto different servers. You won't notice it as a player, but for example, we could have like what are called nodes, where if you are in the northeast corner of the map, you're actually playing on a different server than people in the southwest. So really, it breaks things up like that and makes it a lot easier.
This is the same way that allows Mortal Online, for instance, to be an open world MMO on the Unreal Engine 3. It's essentially the same thing here. Oh.
That's awesome. Yeah. With these hives and stuff, so I know you're gonna have your main servers that you guys are you're gonna be hosting yourselves and keeping track of.
Yeah.
What if say there's such a huge outpouring of of support where there's like, I don't know, let's say 100,000 players want to get in all at once, but there's only a certain amount of servers. How are you planning on like the scaling of to match the demand at the time?
Well, the thing is, we can put up servers very easily, but the issue is that when you own part of the world on there, like say you have purchased a house out in the world, we can't really just take that official server down, you know what I mean? Because then that person is losing a big part of what they work towards already. So there will be an initial spike of popularity, obviously, on day one, because, there always is. So at that point, we're just going to have to kind of go, day to day, keep an eye on the numbers and metrics. And there will be a queue, obviously, if the servers are really maxed out. But we might even be able to just bump up the capacity of each server in these parts too, to let a few more people on, for example, than we normally would during these this big spike in traffic and whatnot.
So you don't have to spam enter to get into these servers.
Yeah, limit as much as we can. Anyway. Oh God, yeah. No, we've experienced that enough.
Yeah. That's cool. I mean, if it's popular and you got to expand, and you're not ready for it, that's a good thing. It's
that's a good part too about being able to have community servers, right? So if we are not able to meet that with the amount of servers we have, naturally, supply and demand, people are going to be opening up servers of their own to meet the demand of people trying to play. So it'll mostly take care of itself, but we'll do what we can on our end to try and minimize it anyway.
So also, I'm seeing a lot of people talking timeline. I see you have the estimated delivery of 2016, December 2016. Is that kind of a soft goal, or?
That's not set in stone. That is just a number that we thought was a safe bet. Really, it's way too early to give an actual release date at this point.
Right, yeah.
We don't really
absolutely
have a good idea either.
It's a twinkle in the eye right now. So it's it's yet to see. Like once you can track the progress of how things are going and how big a studio you can and build up a mass, a force for. And depending on maybe extra variables like a larger company getting involved, and it takes a larger scale entirely. I mean, yeah, it's really hard to tell. A lot of people are taking that as they're like, oh, it's going to be exactly 2 years. It's well, you don't know exactly what's going to happen yet. So
could be less, but it could be more too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It's so early. I see. I'm watching your chat right now too, and they're asking about Oculus Rift. So I just want to say, yeah, we will support Oculus Rift on day one. We're going to have a special user interface for people using it. It will have full independent head tracking because we come from Arma. We can't play games without independent head tracking anymore. It freaking kills us.
Oh my
So,
god,
yeah.
I know. Imagine like speaking of which, yeah, like free look's a plan. You know, so if you're running
Oh
a
yeah,
straight line, I
that's
could look off to
Yeah.
the left. So that's what you're talking about there, right?
yes,
Independent
that is
tracking.
necessary. We couldn't deal without that. No.
Oh my god, no way. Okay, well that's really good. Yeah, that's because that's. I feel like that is a huge, huge awkward moment. Like when
Yeah.
when someone's turning their entire body to look at you.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
kind of
Yeah.
defeats the purpose. Any sort of other tracking, maybe if there's something else comes into the vote, like hand gestures or something like that. If you can throw some gloves on and it's tracking all that kind of crap. I don't know what kind of support there is out there for it, but just
Yeah, I don't
to
know.
bring down the
We don't-
immersion is to a new level.
It would be really cool. We don't have anything planned right now for it, but we're always open to anything really. Um, I I guess it might be kind of cool for doing emotes or something like that. In a game like this, it's kind of hard to imagine how that'd be used. If it was a sword slasher, there's a lot you can do there, but
Oh
with
yeah,
a weapon.
yeah. I think more emotes than like Italians.
Hand gestures, yeah.
Yeah, this is cool. I'm just checking chat. I'm trying to get some ideas from what you guys. What about lips when moving? Then lips moving when talking, doing gestures, maybe learning to dance. It sounds like you guys were probably considering emotes already, so that can play into maybe the dancing and stuff. Because you said there's going to be like a karaoke place. I'm assuming maybe like general music halls or clubs or something like that. You said instruments are in the video here. You can, play your own music through the game.
Yeah, and try to sync up to be a band.
Okay.
Sync up your instruments.
Yeah,
That'd
how's
be.
the voice what's the voice delay gonna sound like? Have you guys tested that yet to see?
It's um, it's gonna be like it's gonna use the same exact codec that TeamSpeak uses, right? So it'll sound. We hope it'll sound like what TeamSpeak. You know.
Yeah, well, yeah,
sounds
but
like.
but don't take it as just like you're gonna be talking in TeamSpeak. People
No,
have to
no.
consider the environmental effects to it. Like you
Yeah,
can
there's-
clearly see in the video, like Motown's talking in the jail, and you just hear it echoing, and it's
Yeah, there's reverb and there's positioning. So like when you hear someone's voice off to your right, you'll hear it in your right side microphone. More than you will on the left side, and there's directional sound, right, and reverb. So you'll hear the echoes in the areas that they're necessary.
that's cool.
Yeah, and there's of course other things too, like microphones and radios. That sort of thing will modify the voice a bit to sound like it's coming over, some kind of compression too. So, yeah, we're gonna be morphing a voice where we can. We were looking into doing something called voice fonts, but I don't really want to get into that yet because
Gotcha.
we don't know
Disguising.
if that's going to be possible yet or not. But it's something that we're looking into anyway.
Yeah, I think that it's sometimes a turn off and a break in immersion when you do hear stuff like that. It's like, it doesn't really sound too natural, and it's someone's gonna, like if I had a deep voice, and I made it lower, it just sound kind of weird and out of kind of out of character, to a little bit of immersion breaker sometimes. But it depends in practice and how extreme. And you have children like this is it's kind of scary, like because it's almost like a life simulator, if you know what I mean. Like there's so many different ways you can take it. This is more of an action oriented type of game where you'll have these civilian activities. Like take a life mod for example. You don't, if you're walking around like don't get me wrong, I'm going to compare this to A3L for a second, but like when you're in A3L, there's a lot of times because the feature set's so limited, you're just standing around wishing you had something to do, and you just want to like have fun and grab a gun and go hunting on like something that's actually worth hunting, and take that head and throw it on your place. But it's like, I know you can't do that. You can right click it and or scroll wheel and take meat.
Right. I think that would be incredibly awesome if you could go hunting and like get the head of the deer that you killed, and put it in your apartment. That'd be so cool.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think that's.
uh,
Oh, cops raiding like apartments. Are you gonna? I mean, if you're gonna be doing illegal
they're-
things inside your place, I'm assuming they
cops
can go in
cops
there.
won't cops won't be able to enter your house. The illegal things that you could do inside of your house are in small quantities. When I talk about the hydroponic lights and stuff like that, the table, it's in such a small quantity that you won't really be able to make a living off of it. You know, um, if you really wanted to make money growing marijuana and selling it, you'd have to go out to like a field and grow it.
Yeah, mass produce and throw in a
Yeah,
truck or
mass produce it.
something, and
Yeah, exactly.
cross a border. Any like ideas for like certain like county lines and borders and like independently run areas?
We discussed that, but I don't think we'll have territories or anything like that. Maybe for gangs, there will be territory control. But for the rest of the player base, there won't be like county lines or
You might get police checkpoints. But
yeah, in strategic positions.
Hackers, that's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Like overrunning. Well, any sort of like major like end game of like criminal events, like robbing like a jewelry store, kind of payday-ish style, or like bank robberies. I saw was in there. Any sort of like mechanics you can go into about like how a criminal could theoretically take the bank and be successful in it.
I mean, I guess we could talk a little bit about it. I don't really want to go into too much detail just yet because we have to make sure everything that
About the
pans
route.
out how we
Yeah,
plan it to be.
absolutely, yeah, 'cause,
But yeah, so there's going to be different sizes of events, different scales essentially. A bank robbery is going to be a pretty major one, and you are not going to be able to pull that off on your own. You will need to have a team because there are different things that you have to take care of during it, different objectives really to make it pull off smoothly. You'll never be able to do that on your own. Things like robbing a gas station or a store, of course, that's very different. You could. But some of them, the big things like that, are more of a team collaboration. Payday is probably the best example I can think of for that.
Yeah.
Where you will have safe cracking, you will have to monitor. There's
Security
cameras and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you'll need a large group to rob the Federal Reserve. You'll need a small group to rob a gas station. The different tiers of
That's awesome.
legal. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and just so people know, like, you get these ideas that are practical, and when submit these suggestions, man. Suggestions are good. Questions are great, but suggestions are amazing because, like, if you have an idea that you would say this would work perfectly for you guys, they may not have thought about it. If this becomes a whole independent process, they're jotting it all down, and the support's where it's at. Like, this is by having a community funded project. You take in more than just the funding. It's so much more than just the funding. So
Absolutely, yeah.
so
And
social medias.
some things actually, like to produce meth, to cook meth, you'll actually need to go out and rob a specific location on the map to get some of the ingredients to cook that, being like a Fedra or something, or whatever, the chemicals.
The barrel.
We have a list of them all, but like I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, you'll have to go out and rob these places to get some of the ingredients to cook high-end profitable like drugs. And yeah.
Bullet drop. I'm assuming there's going to be I mean, it's Unreal, guys. This is one of the nicest physics engines you can get.
Yeah.
I'm sure there.
I'm sure there will be bullet physics.
Any moonshine running?
Yes, there is. There is, in fact, moonshine writing, and that's one of the early ideas that we came up with. To go along with the alcohol distillery thing, you could do moonshining. You could make wine, beer, you know, uh, and those things will actually be dated too.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome. All right, cool. So, I don't want to keep you guys too long. I got you for an hour and 10 minutes here. It looks like so. If you guys, I'm sure you guys are super busy. The PayPal thing. James Vista, he was mentioning it earlier. PayPal, the Kickstarter doesn't allow for PayPal, but later on there's going to be more funding, independent funding projects where on Identity RPG you'll be able to fund through PayPal, and you'll get, I'm sure, some of these same backer perks that you would do that. Oh yeah. One question I've been just curious. Like it says the $1,000 in-game cash. Like what kind of value is that $1,000 gonna be?
it's going to take a while to make that kind of money. We want to make it as realistic as possible. Now we understand that we can't simulate the American economy. We understand that this is a very specific scenario of a life simulator. So $1,000 will take quite a while. Probably for casual players a day to earn if they're really working. But
So like $1,000, I'm assuming I could buy a PC with that, like a laptop.
maybe yeah, or
Like thinking like
yeah.
whatever prices are out there already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's gonna
It's
be fairly accurate representation.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
It's the best way to put it. I mean, obviously, some things for gameplay reasons are not going to be exactly accurate pricing, but for the most part, that's a general rule to go by.
All right, cool. Because yeah, I mean the numbers and all, but it looks like well, what could I really buy with that? So just like a little more to just treat it like that. That's cool. Yeah, this is awesome. I can't wait to buy a house. I'm gonna buy a house and load it up with weed, and and go on the corner and start selling it.
I know you will. I know you will.
Yo,
I
20 bucks,
will.
bro. Put it in my
I'll
hand.
see you in prison.
Yeah. Well, I know. Come on.
Let me-
I'm seasoned veteran of this stuff, man.
Let
You're
me-
not catching me.
Let me know if you need a shank.
Yeah. That's gonna be the in prison.
Dude, I've heard that like people have commented on that so much.
Dude,
I've heard
it's
so
perfect.
many people.
It's such a good
Yeah.
touch because Lyric was like, "Oh shit, that's Motown." Like
Yeah.
I don't think he really got it until
Yeah.
until that point. It's awesome, man. I love that. You guys are such a good face in the community. Everyone. I truly believe everybody respects you. Except for the trolls that get banned on the first day. But I really think you guys have built a reputation, and it's showing here, man. Like it's the whole project. It looks like it's taken off, and I see how much support people have for you. Like already, like 400 backers. That's 400 people that are going to give you money to help you do this, and they're excited to be a part of the next big thing that you guys have to offer. And you know what? I hope the best happens with you guys, because if it does come down to like you end up being a AAA title, I'm down with that too, bro. That'll be amazing.
Hell yeah, man. We'll see.
But yeah, I don't want to keep you guys too much longer. I mean, you guys probably have a ton of shit to do. Like I said, I like to leave it off on how people can communicate with you. So if you guys want to plug that, go right ahead.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. If you, I'll put this in the chat as well. But if you guys want to send a message, we're looking at Twitter. I try to respond to literally everybody that's like tweets us on Twitter. Revere is on there as well. You can check us out on Facebook. We're even on Greenlight under the concepts section. If you want to search Steam Greenlight, you can find us there under concepts. And go to our website. It's got everything you need to know. Our website is identityrpg.com. And but I've been monitoring the Twitter all day. I've been on social media sites, Reddit, 9gag, multiple social media sites, talking to as many people as I can. So it's pretty easy to get a hold of us. Um, Send us a message wherever you can, and we'll read it.
Yep. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. You guys got your videos. How quickly do you think you'll have updates and things like in the near future? Are you gonna have some more updates?
Like progress updates?
Yeah, we'll just, yeah.
Once we get the ball rolling, they'll be weekly. Honestly, they'll be as often. We want to be as transparent as possible. We want people to know what their money is going toward, what they're funding, and this you're paying for it. So, we owe it to you to tell you exactly what we're working on.
Yeah, and I would continue to keep plugging that Steam green light as well, because that'll get you a lot of recognition as well if that takes off
it has.
over there. Has it? Has it been going pretty well?
Yes, we like there's like the stat tracker thing on the Kickstarter page that tells us exactly where people came from, and there's been quite a bit from Steam, So.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. Real quick, because I know, I mean, in stages, are you gonna have? Is the first stage where, the general public is gonna get in? Is there gonna be like closed betas, closed alphas in the future, or you have no idea?
We won't have an alpha testing. We'll have a closed beta testing, and then we'll have an open beta. Open beta, what most people don't understand is beta is a time in which you usually have a finished product. Before launch, it's a release candidate, but you're basically stress testing your servers. That's usually what open beta serves as. That's what it'll serve as for us. But we'll keep it honest. We're not going to try to milk you by
alpha for 5 years.
Alpha, yeah, for 5 years exactly. We won't have a open like alpha test. We'll invite who we need to get those features tested out, and
that's more incentive to go at least $25 on the campaign or the Kickstarter here, because that's guaranteed first look access to the game as well. And unless you're really lucky, are you gonna have different stages of closed beta, or is it just gonna be one big closed beta, one open beta?
There'll be one closed beta. We're not really. Well, we're obviously going to be doing some internal testing before we hit that point with an internal team. But really, the people who are pledging early on here are going to get in the first bit with public gameplay. So they're going to be the first in the door, the first to see what the game's all about. And I know people are going to make fun of me for saying that word just now, too.
Boot.
You just gotta embrace it, man. You just gotta embrace it.
Oh yeah, I'm just so used to it now.
Not only do I work with a lot of people from the UK, most of my company actually works up in Canada, so I'm immune to it. I actually don't even hear it anymore.
But yeah, the closed beta is going to be feature complete. We're not going to put out this early access stuff with missing half the features. And we're not going to put out something like
half finished,
the same. Yeah, I mean, the games I'm talking about.
We're tired of
similar
seeing
standalones.
Yeah, I know. There's so many of them too. Like it's like they milk it to get them out, and then they barely update it, and they take forever for updates. There should be some pressure on the developer too to get it out as soon as possible. Like they don't want to give you a shitty game; they want to give you something that's gonna work. And because a lot of the time, like, these games flop because they do open them up so early, and they're so broken that people are like, I'm not buying this game. And then they it's so discouraging, and then you're trying to tweak it because there's so many gameplay broken mechanics that you're trying to focus on the things that you shouldn't be. Whereas you could scrap something entirely and build it differently, but you might not be able to do that if it's already out there. So there are a lot of downsides to releasing and letting people play too early. You don't want to get screwed over that way. And I think in actuality, people want a good product that works and is not going to fall over and go the wrong path. Don't end up like EA and DICE.
Yeah, exactly. That's really we understand that it's a legitimate fear that a lot of people have with new releases, and we want to keep it honest. It's not about how much money we can take from you. It's about bringing you the best role play experience you've ever seen in a video game.
And you guys are so active in the community. Like, if people don't know you guys by now, like, I mean, Motown has been around. Like, I anytime I want to talk to Motown, easy. Anytime I want to talk to John, no problem. You guys have been super responsive. I mean, lately you guys have been very distracted for some reason. I don't know what, but
Oh, I couldn't imagine.
But like, it's never been a hard person. You guys have never been hard to get a hold of, and you've been always super responsive and forthright. And I mean, these guys are where it's at. I mean, at a larger scale, you might need a couple more people to help you with that. But
yeah, we'll work on that. we have a lot of people already that we've been talking to that are very talented people. They are ready to. They want to. They're very passionate, and they want to help us out on this. But until we can afford their talents, we don't want them to. We don't want to make them work for free. So
I played Mortal online for 3 years. John might have done a little bit with that.
Did you actually play Mortal Online for 3 years?
Yeah, Diz said that. Yeah.
No,
in chat.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, all right.
But good stuff, guys. Yeah, I'll leave it there. Everybody go to identityrpg.com. I think you guys should maybe throw a little link over your green light there too, just a little Steam icon down at the bottom.
Oh yeah. Let me.
And then talk to them. They're gonna talk back. It's you just let them know what you think, and if you like it, dislike it. What don't you like? What do you love? All that kind of stuff, and that things can change if you put your input in. So, keep reaching out, guys. And guys, I really appreciate your time, man. This is a long interview, and
absolutely, man. We really appreciate you.
I think,
yeah, man. Like, thanks for having us. Really,
dude, absolutely. Come on, man. You guys are the reason I'm here. Like, without Asylum, I wouldn't be anything at this point. I wouldn't have ever considered going into this route until Asylum came around, man. It was just looking up for me. You guys did as much for me as might as well give back as much as you need it, man. And anytime you guys if you guys have something else you want to talk about, you guys let me know, and I would be, I'll be more than happy to fit in as much time as you need. But there you guys have it. Identity.
Thank you very much.
Go pledge $1,000. We only need about 100 more of those, and we're good.
Yeah.
Oh, there's only 48 left of those. Let's go.
Yeah.
You guys got to get in there. Who's gonna be the first? I want to see who's gonna be the first 5,000. Who's gonna do that? Who am I gonna meet?
I'll do it, and I'll meet myself.
So it's like a date.
Yeah.
One of you, half of you, are gonna wear a dress.
Yeah.
You're going to do a lot of interviews, man. If you fill up that's going to be a lot of time talking to people. 60 minute, 40, 60-minute interviews, and then another 10 if you fit that in there.
Yeah. We'll have to spread them out a little bit for sure.
Yeah.
Probably really tired for a week.
It's safe to say that if you back that much, we'll go out of our way to make it worth it for you. We'll people see like a 60-minute conference, like that's not fair. I'm paying $5,000. I want a whole day with you. I think it's safe to say that we'll spend as much time as you want. So,
all right, guys. Well, that's good. IdentityRPG.com. Go visit the Kickstarter page right here. Look around, see what you like, and give them some feedback. Keep in touch with them, and I'm sure they'd be more than happy to listen to all your comments. And once again, guys, thank you very much, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, thank you, man.
All right, man. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
All right, bye-bye, guys.
See you.
Bye-bye.